Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. On Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the widest array of content here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes are available. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Two Dudes Movie Review. Scott Schweitzer, Charlie Odie. We're here hanging out with you guys. What's wrong? Oh, what up?
Huh?
Your arch nemesis is already in the chat.
I see that.
So I'm sure he has his feelings about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, which is what we are going to touch on today as a top 5. And but before we get into that, I wanted to talk about what it is that you've been streaming. And the last thing I streamed was actually the Arnold documentary. But what have you been streaming lately? Because we haven't been on for a couple weeks. Any recommendations?
I've been streaming this show called Warrior, which is on HBO Max, which was it's a story that was kind of written by Bruce Lee before he died, and they've kind of adapted it into and made some things to talk to his daughter about it and using it. And it's actually pretty good. It's set in San Francisco in 1886. Just a little kind of westerny, martial artsy thing, but it's pretty good.
Cool.
I wouldn't watch it around your children if you have any. There's some interesting language and scenes in there that
Okay.
But it's a good show.
Yeah, well, as I've announced, I've been down with COVID for a week, so with the wife having it as well. So we watched the Wham documentary. Got that out of the way. It was good. It wasn't as good as the George Michael documentary. Kind of super fast paced. I wanted to dive a little deeper into some of the different issues, but it was okay. I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Would they have 2 albums?
2 albums.
It's not a whole lot to get into.
So we've got some. We were just a couple dudes in the chat. Now we've got Holly. Based on other movie review videos, I'm guessing I've seen maybe 2 of these movies. And then we've got Elise in here. If you have only seen 2 Arnold movies, you need better parents.
You probably see more than 2, but they're probably not going to be the 2 on this list.
Good point. The other things I've watched were I watched a couple rom-coms. Just going back to our last show, I watched Happiness for Beginners. Maybe a 3, maybe a 2.5. It was okay, just kind of meh. And then Tall Girl and Tall Girl 2. Tall Girl 1, I'd give a 4. Tall Girl 2, a 2.
Tall Girl?
Yeah.
Is she real tall?
Like 6'1".
Tall? Ow. 6'1".
Yeah. It's a rom-com, dude. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The best. She's got a best friend and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the best friend is a dude who's 5'4" and, like Ducky from Pretty in Pink.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So, but they were Tall Girl 1, I would recommend highly. The other one's just a meh. Happiness for Beginners has the guy from Yellowstone. The youngest brother that was military, came back. Yeah. So he was in that. That's what kind of got me into that movie. And then but it was just a three tops. So Nick is already writing on his top 5. I'll tell you the top 5 when we get to that was really tough for me to narrow down some of those. And really in my these were my childhood, right? So they blur together. So it was really, I had to sit down and figure out which storyline was which movie.
Yeah.
The storyline was not the strength of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
That's not, it's quips.
Right.
And ridiculously unbelievable things, strengths, feats of strength.
Correct. So I just said I just finished the Arnold doc. You asked me how it was before we went on the air. We said we'd save that for a discussion here. So you've seen the full documentary?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
I think it was good insight. I mean, as much as he's going to give in terms of his perspective on everything that's happened. But there were a couple things that you probably didn't know, about his story and coming up through Austria and doing all those things. And then the biggest piece I wanted to know was the whole nanny story, which they touched on briefly, but and enough to go, okay, yeah, you were sad about it, but based on your life, doesn't really seem out of your wheelhouse.
They wait till like hour 3.
Yeah.
To even bring it up.
Right.
They did. So if you haven't seen it, they split it into 3 categories. Episode 1 is athletics. Episode 2 is acting. And then episode 3 is politics. And they throw the nanny story into the politics story.
Yeah. It was like I had nanny and I did some elevator stuff, and we don't talk about that either. Just
yeah. Well, and I loved like the clip with Tom Brokaw where he's asking him, so you're saying you didn't grope the women? And he said, well, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Yeah. So the political thing was probably my least favorite of the 3 episodes. I really enjoyed like his upbringing, what got him into bodybuilding, how Joe Weider kind of like financed him once he got to America, which was game changing for him. How it was viewed completely differently in America than it was in Austria, and that he didn't look at himself as the most cut and ripped guy, but the best team builder. Mm-hmm. And by that made him the most successful.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And then the acting part was pretty good. I will admit that I am a Stallone fanatic. So, and in the 80s, you had to pick one or the other, right, as your favorite. And so I saw all the Arnold movies. I was a Stallone guy, not an Arnold guy. So it's funny. But Mama Schweitzer loves herself some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
And she's a Stallone guy too. She didn't pick though. She was like, "You can't make me pick. I'm picking both."
Come on, Mama. You got to pick one.
So yeah. So I forgot. I actually forgot about a couple of the movies. I forgot about Junior. I forgot about. And so when I was watching the documentary, so I was like, I better go research his movies to make sure I'm not missing something on this list when I go to do the top 5. Yeah. I didn't forget about that one.
Which is an underrated movie. Not on my top 5.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I don't want to no spoil. It's actually in my honorable mention because I think like Escape Plan was a really good movie. For a later career decision with him and Stallone in it, like if you were a child of the 80s, that was a near impossibility to think they would be in the same movie. And now they've been in Expendables and Escape Plan and all of that stuff. So Wad Zombie asks, is Pumping Iron in consideration on these lists, or is that considered a doc? It is an Arnold movie, and I did consider it. It did not make my top 5, but I did consider it. It's a great movie.
Same. It was actually number 6 on
mine. Elise said, I just need to make a new Expendables movie every year so we can get some of the old BA guys. BA Baracus or Badass
They are
guys?
making another one.
I know. Yeah. I love the Expendable movies. But I lump them as just kind of like a big long series.
Can you count that? Because it's not really his movie.
I think it's up to your interpretation. I didn't put it on my top 5.
Yeah, it's more of he's in it. It's not really. It's more Stallone's movie.
The first couple, he's only like cameo.
Just walk by.
Right. Hands
like he doesn't
Bruce
walk
Willis and hands Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone a document.
Yeah, yeah. Chuck Norris
That's about
in it. It's great. Basically everyone.
Yeah. To me, the underrated hero of those early ones is Jason Statham, man. That dude carried Expendables 1.
He's got a great catalog of movies of him just doing badass shit.
So do we want to get to the top 5? We're kind of blowing through this episode quick.
Let's do it.
I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to clean up these graphics in a bit, but I just got some templates up so we can add in. All right, I'm going to pull yours up first. So here we go.
What is that?
Number 5.
I'm going to say number 5 is True Lies. Great. Jamie Lee Curtis. Good. Like they've remade a show with it, and it's not great. They shouldn't have done that. But it's got good comedy in it. It's got some good action. Arnold on a horse. Clearly not him on the horse, so maybe some editing issues there, but a good story. Some good, unbelievable, I'm going to catch you falling out of a helicopter with one arm stuff.
That is coming on my list. So I will reserve comment, but Wad Zombie echoes my sentiments.
Yes.
That may be one of the top 10 scenes for a teenage boy.
Yes.
In my life. The revitalization of Jamie Lee Curtis. And she actually talks about that in the documentary, that movie changed her career completely. All right, so you went first. True Lies, great pick. Cannot argue with that. You'll see why I can't argue with that soon. But my number 5, you guys are going to scratch your heads and go, what the hell is this? But this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's called The Villain. If you have not seen this movie, it's hard to find. It is super hard to find. It's Kirk Douglas and Anne Margaret, and it is a Mel Brooks movie, and it's a parody of the Roadrunner Coyote cartoon, but done in live action. And it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. And Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a character named Handsome Stranger, and he drives the stagecoach with Anne Margaret on it across the country. It is freaking one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. So underrated, and I had to put it on my list.
But is he in it enough?
He's in it the whole way, man.
Okay.
He's one of them. He's the handsome stranger. He's the good-looking guy that's naive to the passes of Anne Margaret.
Okay.
It's great. So great. He's essentially the Roadrunner. Kirk Douglas is the Wile E. Coyote.
Mel Brooks is a genius.
Yes,
Great.
it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I had to put it on the list. My family watches this movie every opportunity we can find it.
Definitely not on very much. You have to really search for it to find it.
Well, I don't know if there's stuff like typical Mel Brooks stuff that like is probably offensive today, and so it doesn't air much because of that.
Probably.
I don't know, but so good.
Yes.
So good. If you see it, you've got to watch it.
Spaceballs is definitely in Mel's top 3.
Yeah, we may have to do something like that. Let's go back to Charlie.
My number 4 is Commando. We've got a weird Radon Chong appearance of some kind of weird chemistry that just didn't really work out for me. But you got Alyssa Milano as a daughter. You got maybe the most unexpected bad guy who has the greatest fishnet t-shirt short sleeve that you've ever seen in your life. And why hasn't a CrossFitter broke this out and used it at the games? I don't know. He's out of shape. There's no reason he should be in any category of fighting Arnold, but here he is.
Can we talk about this line? Solid.
I lied.
When I said to kill you last, I lied. Why in the world does Old Spice put Dolph Lundgren in that role? In the commercial.
In which one?
Such sacrilege. Why would they do that? Old Spice has a commercial where Dolph Lundgren is holding the person over the cliff, and he said, "When I told you I'd kill you last, I lied."
Really? I've never seen it.
And there's like sweat pouring out of his like pit.
Oh.
And why put Dolph Lundgren there?
Couldn't afford Arnold.
Wad Zombie says probably the most masculine opening credits ever.
Yes. Also, great Bill Dukes fight in the hotel room. Again, unnecessary 80s nudity in it where they're just people just sitting around in the hotel room.
And best use of springboards whenever people got blown up by hand grenades.
Yes.
They got flung 18 feet in the air in that movie. So good.
A lot of one-liners.
It did not make my top 5. It probably should have. It's probably my first Arnold like love movie like that I loved of his.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it probably 20 times. Great movie. I mean,
he throws a pipe through a guy and tells him to blow off steam. What better?
Okay. Yeah.
The fishnet shirt is still my favorite shirt of all time. And I need someone.
Well, I think you need to break it out. When you and Corey go head to head, you break out the fishnet shirt just to throw intimidation.
It's a victory. You can't lose without the shirt.
So my number 4 is Running Man.
It's an honorable mention.
Running Man for me it was the first of a genre that we see all the time now. It was the Hunger Games, it was the Squid Game, it was all of those things prior to what is out today. It was about convicts could get their way out of jail by winning a game show hosted by Richard Dawson. You know what I mean, darling?
Yeah.
And to have Richard Dawson in the movie was epic. As the host of the game show, it was awesome. And the defenders or whatever they were called, so cool.
Yeah.
You are correct, Corey. It was loosely based
by Jim Brown.
What was that?
You had a
Charlie?
appearance by Jim Brown.
It did. Jesse Ventura cameo as well.
Jesse Ventura.
And Corey was right. It was loosely based on a Stephen King short story. So to me, The Running Man and what it created later in life, do you know that it was set in 2017?
Yes.
So we are 6 years past where The Running Man was set. It was great. So,
again, another outstanding outfit. My guy with the light bulbs basically as his outfit.
The one I remember the most is the hockey player defender.
Mm-hmm.
What a cool concept and so ahead of its time. But yeah, I loved it. No, that's definitely my number 4.
Dynamo. Yeah.
Of
So
course,
my number.
Dawson was outstanding in that movie. Stole every scene he was in. Richard Dawson was the best.
Okay, my number 3 is going to be Total Recall.
Total Recall. Wow. That high?
You get a little. Listen.
Young Sharon Stone does it for you?
Young Sharon Stone beating the out of him. You've got weird alien stuff happening. Of course, you've got the lady at the bar that is iconic with the 3 parts, if you will.
Yeah.
2 weeks, exactly. You got the helmet, the old outfit. I mean, think about this year of this movie. They were able to make that helmet pop off of his head of that weird lady.
Let's be honest, everyone. It's the 3 boobs.
That's why it's number 3. There's a reason it's number 3. It's all 3 of those. You don't really know. Here's the thing. Was it a dream? Is it really a dream? Is it not? You don't really know. You never really tell.
So you're saying it was Inception before Inception?
Exactly. You don't know if he was in the dream, in the recall.
Yeah. I remember like my mom looking at me when that movie was over, going, "What was that?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. And Elise says Odie is into weird alien stuff.
Oh, wait till we get to 1 and 2.
Corey says Total Recall is one that if it's on, I'll probably finish watching it.
Yep. There's real slow moments.
Yeah. That was a good movie. Didn't make that my top 5. Our top 5s are very, very different so far.
I don't know what you got going on over there.
Probably put I went off script with the villain there, and then now I'm just playing catch up. So my number 3, and now we're like now we're splitting hairs on my top three, because my top three are just phenomenal movies that I would watch whenever they're on.
I hope
And my number three, what's that?
Ah, yes. Now, is that the first, the second? You've
I
proven them all
spelled it
as
out.
one?
Not the Destroyer, the Barbarian. Don't need no Wilt Chamberlain. Conan the Barbarian. And
Was Grace in that
watching,
one?
what's that?
Is Grace Jones in that one?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Conan the Barbarian was like the first epic movie that he ever did. If you watch the documentary, they had no body double for him. So he had to do all of his own stunts, got attacked by dogs. What he put into that role was epic. And it just was freaking awesome. He didn't need to speak. It could all be done with like it just was just a great movie. And
dark.
they told a good story, right? And then we get the wheel of torture, wheel of pain, whatever it was, that now we see at all the strongman competitions.
Mm-hmm.
It was just suffering, and it was great movie. And he got to show off his whole jacked self in that movie and do all that. So I almost went Red Sonja instead, because Bridget Nielsen was freaking awesome as Red Sonja, and
yes,
Conan was in those movies, but the one that started it all has to get the nod, and I'm going Conan the Barbarian for number 3.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't have Red Sonja also, because it's more her movie than his.
But she looked good.
Yes, until the wheels fell off. She was.
Yeah.
And they fell way off. But
the Flavor Flav days are very forgettable.
I said, even in Creed too, it was like, oof, what's happening?
Yeah.
My number 2 is going to be T2.
T2, number 2.
Probably one of the. You don't get many sequels that are better than the first. And that one was just better than the first.
It was.
Liquid Metal.
I still have that on my list, so I'm going to reserve comment.
You've got a fully jacked Linda Hamilton. Hamilton? Is that her name?
Yeah. Highlight of the documentary for me is when Arnold showed up on set and he was like, she's more cut than me.
She's more cut than I am. Yeah, just
yeah,
great show, great villain.
It's coming up on my list, and so I will reserve my comments for when I pick it. What sucks for me is now I have to repeat 2 of yours in my top 2. And so my number 2.
Now, Linda Hamilton, Natty.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
My number 2 is True Lies.
Just sorry.
True Lies I can watch every time it's on. In fact, I just watched it like a week and a half ago. Still holds up. Still hilarious. Tom Arnold, a great addition to the Arnold canon. And Tom Arnold has milked that for every penny he could.
Yes.
Bill Paxton as the cheeseball spy car dealership is epic. Like, you have all these like big name people in these bit characters in this movie. Freaking phenomenal. It is that we've already talked about Jamie Lee Curtis's revival. that lingerie scene and the dance scene is amazing. And I just
peeing his
thought it was
pants.
Arnold at his best. What was that?
Paxton peeing his pants when he goes to
So good. What a pick for that. He just was awesome. So True Lies is number 2 on my Arnold list for all the aforementioned reasons.
Bill Paxton makes every movie he's in, he shows up in better. He's great in Tombstone. He's great in that.
Indian Summer.
He's just a great addition to any movie.
Yeah. Too bad we lost him early, man. What, he passed away like 10 years ago now?
Yeah. You think about it, yeah.
Corey says, Tom Arnold was fantastic. Bill Paxton was hilarious. And the scene with the Harrier jet was so much over the top goodness. It really was. The daughter jumping from the crane, then grabbing Jamie Lee Curtis out of the car from it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know the Harrier jet was that nimble.
Did he put a horse on the elevator?
I think he did. I think he did. Such good stuff.
There's a lot of irrational elevator things with Arnold. Commando, he threw that elevator out. He pulled it off the wall and threw it. It's great.
Corey confirms, yes, the elevator horse.
The horse is like, well, I'm out of here.
All right, so now
one,
we got to go to
clear number one, and I don't know how this is not in your top 5, is Predator. You've got everyone on there is just sharing steroids at some point between Carl Weathers.
I don't even know how to spell it. I hope that's right. I'll go back and check it later. Whoa.
I
think there's an A there.
Bill Dukes is jacked. A lot of returned characters. Jingle All the Way. It's a great movie. I mean, it's in the forest. There's all the lines from it that people did to get to the chopper, stick around. So many lines, so many unrealistic things. Like he picks the car up and throws it into the village.
I think I looked at this as more of a Jesse the Body Ventura movie than an Arnold movie.
He's only in it for maybe a couple minutes.
But so memorable.
Says a couple lines that should be repeated ever in life. He does have the most fantastic gun that has ever been televised. That I can't think of what they called it. Zombie nose.
Yeah, Jesse gets smoked early, but man, memorable character. You know what I think it was? Like my friends were big time Schwarzenegger fans, and I was forced to watch this movie so much as a kid. Like it just got overplayed. It deserves its due on the top 5, but
it got overplayed because it's that awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, he somehow figures out that you can just put mud on yourself and not be detected. Sets up an entire fortress of wooded things. I don't know if you get trained on that in the military. Maybe one of our military folks can tell me, but somehow he knows how to pull all that together. To do with an alien. As Elise said, yes, I got a thing with aliens. Not that one. Because you are one ugly.
Well, my number one is no surprise because I said it was coming, and that is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Um, this movie was game changing for me growing up. The special effects in T2 were so amazing. The T2000 was such an upgrade over the Schwarzenegger version of Terminator. It was really amazing. And was it Robert Patrick played that character so freaking well.
Yes.
You mentioned the Jack Linda Hamilton. That added so much to this movie, and her not being like the scared mom anymore, but being this badass. And them teaming up with Arnold to take on the T2000 was just freaking epic.
Now,
I've
I
watched
will
this
have
movie so many times.
my one complaint is from what you just said. She did become this huge badass, but when she's running down the hall and he sees him for the first time, what she just completely crumbles. It has no
PTSD, dude. The dude was trying to kill her in the first movie.
but she had prepared her whole life to meet him, and then she finally does, and completely falls apart.
She hadn't totally gotten ready. He came back just a hair too early.
I mean, she bit a guy's ear off, face off 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Hit
Okay.
a guy's leg with a pipe, stuck him with a needle.
Corey says the only good movie Edward Furlong ever made. I would disagree. Detroit Rock City was amazing. Not really. But yeah. So I know I heard Nick and Corey putting down a list. What are your top fives, guys?
Probably Twins is going to be on there.
So my did you have an honorable mention? Because I had a few.
Kindergarten Cop, great movie. A lot of quotes coming from Kindergarten Cop, especially with my kids.
Yeah, I had Raw Deal. Terrible story. But the playing the Rolling Stones in the convertible and just scorched earth everybody with the machine gun while he's driving. Mm-hmm. That scene gets an honorable mention, period.
Red Heat.
Holly, you may get banned from this show with that comment. That may have been the worst superhero movie ever.
Catwoman was pretty bad.
I don't know, man. I think I would put that Catwoman above this.
Green Lantern was pretty bad too.
Don't
Superhero movies might have to come up next.
So I had Raw Deal, Escape Plan, and then I had Commando and Total Recall on my honorable mentions.
Wild Zombie's got it right, just the wrong order.
Wild Zombie goes T2, Predator, True Lies, Running Man, Twins, honorable mention Commando.
There was a rumor that Triplets was coming out, but then that was killed. Which Eddie
Corey
Murphy
goes,
was going to be.
5 Commando, 4 True Lies, 3 Conan, 2 T2, and 1 Predator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the minority on the Predator, it looks like.
Well, yeah. You can't see Predator and not watch it from any point.
Maybe I'll have to go back and watch it one more time.
This guy's telling terrible jokes about his wife. He's trying to get Billy to laugh. Kindergarten Cop, yep.
And Holly's response to us is, "Oh, it was the first one I remember watching." Holly,
Oh,
oh my goodness. I
is that the
just
one
looked it
with
up. The only Terminator movie I've seen is Salvation, which didn't even have Arnold. Please don't kick me out.
that's the one with what's his name, right? From Batman.
Christian Bale.
Yes, him. Billy. He's scared of no man, Billy.
Wow. I think it was Genesis a little bit of the, so Terminator 2, Terminator 1, and Genesis were the onlys of those groups that I liked. We actually got to see it as a premiere here in Columbus because we volunteered to work security at the Arnold. So for that, we got to go to the premiere of Terminator Genesis. It was pretty
Was that with
good.
the
It was
girl?
the one where there's a lot of flashbacks where
Yeah.
like Arnold runs into himself as Terminator 1. It was okay. It was better than all the others combined. So
Red Heat was another one. Good Belushi movie.
that was
Only
good.
thing he's ever been in. That was good. Well, the show he was in was decent, but
Jim Belushi? Dude, we ain't gonna fight.
what else was he in?
Uh
He's in that movie with Tupac, which is terrible.
the principal was great.
Again, I think it's just the TV show he was in.
I liked him in Return to Me, but that's just
It's just you.
it's just me. But he was just a big character in that. I think that's where he's best, is where you just get a little taste of him in the movie and not necessarily like have him carry the movie.
Has Rob Riggle basically just become him?
Probably. That's how I used to feel about Will Ferrell too. Will Ferrell's better when you get just a small taste of him. When he leads the movie, it's a little too much for me.
Jim is not his brother. That is 100% true.
Yeah. And Corey said they messed up the timeline and all the newer ones. Yeah. No, Rob Riggle is actually funny. Best Rob Riggle role is in The Hangover, and it's a bit cook part. When they shoot Zach Galifianakis in the face with the stun gun, one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie.
My thing with Rob Riggle is he's Rob Riggle in every movie. He's the same guy in 21 Jump Street, which is great. He's the track coach.
Yeah, he needs to play that part, but you only need little bits of him, right? He can't carry a movie.
Step Brothers, he's good. Not Step Brothers. Was it Step Brothers?
Have you ever seen The Internship
Yes.
with Owen
Vince
Wilson and he's the rascal salesman at the old folks home?
Yeah.
Talking
Again.
about getting lucky with the ladies.
Yeah. Again, he's Rob Riggle.
Yeah.
Oh, the other guys, he's Rob Riggle again.
Yeah. Well, this one was fun. We got to come up with one for next week. Superheroes is going to be tough, man. You want to do superheroes next week?
Sure. There's a lot of them. It's going to be very controversial.
Green Lantern #1.
Jeez.
You know what sucks?
Is Flash Gordon count?
Flash Gordon. Wad Zombie's asking for Stallone. Let's give a week off for Sandler movies is good too.
That's a good one. We could do Sandler movies.
You know what we should do is we should have one of the guests come on, one of the chat come on as a guest and make a third list.
We can do that.
Um,
But then, are we two guys in a pizza shop?
yeah. Yeah. Corey can be the pizza shop.
Marvel.
So if we're going superhero movies, I think we should do all of them and not pare down to Marvel or DC.
With
'Cause I
DC,
think
you would make a list.
Yes, it does, man. There's a couple great DC movies. Come on, Superman versus Batman. I'm just giving you crap about that one.
Yeah.
But there is
one. Yes.
Maybe
There's
two.
one that would make the list. Maybe two.
That I think there's one that may be the best superhero movie of all time.
That's probably true. And I think I know what you're talking about.
So I think that's why it's interesting to keep them together, because DC gets a bad rap, but they did have a couple really, really good ones.
Does Howard the Duck count as a superhero?
If you want to put Howard the Duck in your top
It's
5,
so bad.
I will let you do that.
I used to like it and watched it again. And I was like, what was wrong with me?
Yeah, I thought I liked it too until I watched it again as an adult.
Yeah, this movie's awful.
Yeah.
Now they just shoehorn him in everywhere.
Yeah. So we'll do superhero movies. We'll keep on the list Sandler movies. That's a great one. And we'll do a Stallone one as well. Amy Brodowski's jumping in, calling us dorks. She's just jealous that we don't invite her on this show.
Right.
Because she misquotes every movie.
My Queen.
Flash Gordon soundtrack. That's not bad. So yeah, so next week, suck it, Trebek.
That's what your mother said.
And keep throwing out ideas, and we'll hit them up. We'll keep doing them, and I'll throw out an invite to one of you. See if you want to come on and count down superhero movies with us next week, and then we'll do Stallone maybe the week after, and Sandler the week after that.
May have to go Statham.
Yeah, we could. Expendables 1, Expendables 2,
Crank.
Wad Zombie asks, who watches on Facebook? That would be Amy Radowski, because she probably can't figure out YouTube.
No.
This will never, ever happen on this show as long as I am running it.
Patrick Swayze.
Man.
He only has 2 movies, doesn't he? Roadhouse.
I don't know. Youngblood.
Done.
So you know what I got in the mail today?
Ooh, is that from Wild Zombie? Oh. I can't tell who it is.
The new Alex Gazan trading card. It is freaking awesome. Super cool stats on the back. Like a real trading card. Man, he is like... So now he has a new company called Mint. That are the ones that do the trading cards. Mint Trading Card Company. It's an awesome picture. They do such a good job with this. My biggest problem now is getting it to fit into my my case that I have. So I need to figure that out. I think I'm going to make a reel about it, because I have decisions I have to make. There's a spot for 9 cards in my case. This will be the 10th card now. Who makes the cut?
Mm.
Who has to leave the box?
Who's your 9? You don't know.
So I think I'm going to make a reel about it, but there's friends of the show like Alex and Ariel and Emily who will definitely make the cut. Colton Mertens. Those 4 are like for sure. I like Alexis Raptis.
I'll take that one if you want to get rid of it.
No. But then there's people that have never come on the show, like Patrick Vellner and Jason Hopper, and
Oh, Hopper's out of there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I got decisions to make, and then again, I could do just what Wad Zombie says and buy a bigger case or a second case, because I know they'll keep coming.
If you're referring to Daniel Brandon, she has been on the show.
She has.
A couple times.
Yeah.
The case.
Hey, listen. Colton is not in any of my documentaries. Emily Rolfe is. Ariel Lowen is always on the show and always a good friend. They probably become queen before Colton becomes king. Just saying.
Yeah, all little guy ones with Colton, Matt Frazier, Corey.
Corey says Jamie Latimer needs a card for being a badass. Our Facebook listener says, "Tell Pat he's out unless he appears on the show." I'm not against,
he was on the show.
I'm not against throwing down that threat.
We did interview him, so he technically was on.
Wad Zombie says you'll need a bigger case. We're speeding up. Ooh. Elise says, okay, Ariel can be queen. And she didn't mean DB out. She forgot about Hopper. And Corey, in response to you, I'm a little guy, can't be helped.
You and me both,
but you
Corey.
did get mentioned with Matt Fraser, so.
Set you up to break you down. Corey, we're probably the same height, so it's fine.
Probably. So,
Kelsey
well, cool.
Well,
just to run down our top 5s one last time. My top 5 is number 5, The Villain, number 4, The Running Man, 3, Conan the Barbarian, 2, True Lies, 1, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Let me stop and then pull up Charlie's.
I don't know. You should have repeated yours without Predator on there.
And Charlie's is True Lies, number 5, 4, Commando, 3, Total Recall, because of his alien fetish, 2, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and 1, Predator.
Perfect list.
And with that, I'll finish with this quote that Stallone said in the documentary is, it really pissed him off that in the movies, Arnold never got hurt. He'd go into a fight with 30 people and come out with a Band-Aid. And Stallone would have to get like tossed against the wall 6 times or punched in the face to get the same kind of box office. So I thought that was pretty funny. And with that, we will catch everybody next time for top 5 superhero movies of all time. And we'll let you know what else we're streaming and recommendations that we have going on. And I'm going to check out that Warrior show sometime this week and see what it's like. And for some reason, the Facebook listeners are being muted.
Jealousy will get you nowhere.
Amy, go back to 1997 on your MySpace page, and we'll see you there. With that, we'll catch everybody later. Bye, guys.